Today I messed up by trapping a part of me I never want trapped. So this just happened. Right now I'm sat in the welding bay, recovering and laughing at my stupid self. We're cleaning up at work. It's a medium-sized factory and I work in the machining department. As such, I work with lots of big bits of metal. I'm working with a spare piece of tooling, expensive but not needed right now, so to keep it clean and protected I'm wrapping it in cling film before it goes into storage, and the easiest way to do this is to leave the roll in place and rotate the tooling. This lump of metal is about 50 centimeters by 20 centimeters by 5 centimeters, about 30 kilograms, not huge, so I can move it by hand but enough that it's heavy, with nice sharp square edges. I've got it on a metal bench, perfectly at waist height, ideal for manhandling heavy stuff, and the easiest way to lift something like this is to use your body as a backstop. So I'm flipping it over and wrapping it up. As I'm reaching the end I flip it over, toward myself, and it drops down with a thud. Directly onto the side of my penis, through my trousers of course, which was at the perfect height that as I leant forward it was basically resting on the tabletop, trapping about 5 millimeters under it. Cue the yelp and some panic lifting. I'm okay now, just a little sore and laughing to myself over how dumb this all is, and no, I am not going to the poor lady in the office to put this into the accident book. Too long. Didn't read. Dropped a 30 kilograms block of steel on my dick, laugh it up, jerks. Today I messed up by not realizing that the MRI technician could hear me. Today I messed up by not realizing that the technician could hear me. Back in February my arm started hurting, so I went to the doctor and he told me to rest it. It still hasn't healed, so he scheduled me for an MRI today. I arrived and got all set up and the tech told me she was training a new girl. They asked me to lay down Superman style and then strap down my arm. It really hurt, but I figured I could suffer for a little while. She then put headphones on my head and asked what kind of music I wanted. I replied that anything but country was fine. She turned on the music and it was country, so I asked her to change it and she did to 80s. She then put me in the machine and left. That's when I realized that the headphones were just a little too tight and the music just a little too quiet. You know how when you can make out what the song is but not quite make out the words. I also realized that I was becoming claustrophobic. So I'm living through my own small slice of hell when the song ends and then the same song starts playing again. And again and again. Blondie Heart of Glass on infinite repeat for 45 minutes. Now I didn't realize that they could hear me in the other room, and when I get nervous and uncomfortable I tend to fart. Not silent, but loud ripping sounds like I need to change my pants, earth shakers. I'm nervous, I'm in pain, and I'm being tortured by not quite loud enough music and the loud thrumming of the machine. After a while I started making up words to the music about how gassy and uncomfortable I was. Occasionally, the technician would speak to me through the headphones and tell me how much longer I had left, and her voice sounded strained, but I figured it was because of the bad acoustics. Finally, the torture is over and they pull me out and I let them know that the music has been on repeat. They then tell me that there is a microphone in the machine and that they can't hear the music, but next time let someone know. That's when I realize I've been ripping ass for the last 30 minutes and they could hear everything. I've never been so mortified in my life. Too long. Didn't read. I suffered through auto and physical torture while ripping ass for 45 minutes and singing about it because I was too stupid to realize there is a microphone in the MRI machine. Today I messed up commenting on loud sex. Many moons ago, I live in a lovely apartment complex. Our upstairs neighbor was always quiet unless there was a football match on, never had his television on loud, no loud music. This, we discovered, was because he was quite deaf. Then he moved. In his place was now a younger couple, and while there was some noise, it was sometimes a bit much, but they'd immediately turn it down. They were unused to living on top of other people, but were considerate. I must confess I did contemplate murder when the husband practiced a children's son on his ukulele for 8 hours straight. And got the same chord wrong each and every time. Anywho, they tended towards some rather vocal lovemaking. Especially her. This of course, resulted in pregnancy, and while likely somewhat encumbered by a steadily growing belly, their lovemaking did not slow. One morning, after what had sounded like a particularly pleasurable session, I met her on the stairs and remarked that it sounded like they'd had fun. And then I saw her suddenly shrunken belly and the very new baby in her arms. Turns out they'd had a home birth. Too long. Didn't read. I messed up mistaking childbirth for loud sex. Today I messed up by revving the engine in my girlfriend's Kia Soul. I was waiting to turn right. There were two ladies on the sidewalk, right beside me, and one opened a fresh pack of smokes and just tossed the plastic wrapper on the ground, so I tried to roll down the passenger side window with the intention of calling her a piece of trash and telling her to pick up her trash. But instead I rolled down the rear window, then the light changed, then I didn't shift into first gear properly, so I revved that little engine super loud. They looked at me, I looked at them, then I did it again by accident, louder. They said something, I don't know what, and I got it into gear and sheepishly drove away. I think they thought I was trying to impress them / hit on them by revving a 4-cylinder engine in a tiny little car with a baby on board thing in the window, when all I wanted to do was let them know that they were basically human garbage. I died a little inside. Too long. Didn't read. Wanted to yell at some ladies for littering, revved my little engine instead and looked like an idiot.